I thought I'd do some small tips for vocal practice since I've been a vocalist most of my life, and let's be honest, a lot of people on Submit Hub need training and obviously haven't done it or haven't done it well enough. So I'll tell you what I do, and this is the way I was taught. Basically, get a piano or a keyboard or whatever and find the note on that keyboard which is the lowest note that you can sing at. And that's where you start your scales. Then you go up and you go up and you go up and you find the highest note that you can do, and that's the note where you stop the scales. And you start your scales just with doing hums, so you can run along that on the keyboard and go up, etc. And what you want to be doing, you want to be standing when you do this, not sitting down like I am. You want to be getting the tension out of your throat and into your upper diaphragm, which is just below your rib cage basically. You want to be holding kind of your pressure and your force down there and not in here. If you're holding it in here, then what you're singing will tend to sound very constrained. So if I go la 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 la, that's me holding the tension in my throat. If I hold it in my upper diaphragm, la 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 la, open up the throat. One easy way to tell if you're holding tension in your throat is to do some singing and just wobble your Adam's apple, because it's impossible for you to hold tension in your throat when you're wobbling your Adam's apple. It just doesn't happen. So that kind of will give you a clue as to how much tension you're holding in here. So do that with hums, and what you want to do is at some point, for most people there'll be a transitional point. For guys it tends to be the transition between what we call head voice, which is like la, and falsetto, which is more like la, that sort of thing. And there'll be a point at which when you're going up and when you're coming down, your voice will want to transition, and you want to get those transitions smooth. The reason for that is it actually makes it easier to transition to those upper notes, but it makes it easier to transition regardless of whether you're doing falsetto or head voice or whatever. So, and the way to do that is not to force it. You're just gently trying to push yourself through those transition places and get up to as high as you can go, trying not to strain yourself, so that means holding your tension down there, not holding it here. And then go back down again and follow the notes on your keyboard or your piano, particularly if you don't have perfect pitch yet or whatever, because if you get used to hearing that, that should help you in terms of being able to stay in tune long term. After that, do the same thing, but instead of hums, you change it to individual words. So any word, wall, 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 paper, 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 etc. And what that does is it just starts loosening up your lips and your mouth, makes your mouth move more. And what that means is when you come to actually singing, your mouth is already open, your lips are properly exercised, and it's way easier to get vocal tracks where you can hear the lyrics without having to do anything special, because your mouth is already warmed up to moving around, your tongue is already warmed up. Doing individual words and doing a lot of different words also helps you with diction and just getting phrases right and that sort of thing. Doesn't matter what the words are, can be rude words, who cares. You do that all the way up and down the scale. And the last one I do is just E. So instead of hums, instead of particular words, you're going E, E. And in this way you're not holding the tension in your throat, you're pushing from your diaphragm, and you're trying to make the sound sort of resonant. So you're trying to have the focal point of the sound in your nose while keeping your throat relaxed. That's the main thing. And you do that all the way up and all the way down. And if you do that every day without fail, you'll find that it's way easier to sing overall. If I'm actually going to be doing some actual recording of vocals, then I will warm up for the 2 days before I'm going to be doing the recording. I don't mean continuously warm up, I mean I do those warm-ups once per day for the 2 days before the recording. And what that means is by the time you get to the actual recording, your vocal muscles have already limbered up, they're already stronger, and they're ready to do the work that you want them to do. And you've also prepared yourself psychologically for singing, for creating good diction and all that sort of jazz. Right. The only other things I have to say aside from that are, shoulders up, back, drop, keep your chest open. And aside from that, every other tip aside from that I would give you is really for specific types of music. And you can look up online how to get this kind of vocal sound, how to get that kind of vocal sound, how to do death growls, whatever. But those basic principles of just warming up your vocal cords and doing scales, following along with a piano, from my perspective, the best thing that you can do for getting your vocals ready for recording. Alright, that's all.